So the need to transform, I think, comes from maybe push factors and pull factors. Among the push factors are changes that are taking place around us. And these changes all predate COVID. I would go back to the 1980s when we asked our faculty to change their orientation from just being deliverers of content to members of an academic community who were producing new knowledge. So in the 1980s, we embarked on a decades-long mission to improve ourselves as a research university. In the early 2000s, we started taking pedagogy much more seriously. Again, we asked our faculty to change their orientation so that they wouldn't just be lecturing and giving exams, but really mentoring and monitoring student outcomes much more seriously. Of course, we also had to ask our students to change what they thought about education, that they weren't merely passive recipients of education, but they had to collaborate with others, they had to develop their soft skills. And then shortly after our centenary, we started taking social engagement much more seriously. We started really looking at the impact of the work that we do curricularly and extracurricularly. So I would think about this transformation as just the latest series in several waves of transformations that have taken place over the decades. I think that the next phase in our transformation is the way we deliver services to our various stakeholders, the way we deliver services to our students, to our faculty, and even among our staff. That appears to be the barrier, I think, the barrier to being a truly excellent university at this moment. And that's what we really have to address with or without COVID. If anything, the COVID pandemic has just emphasized, it's just intensified the pressure on us to make ourselves much more agile and to be more aggressive in imagining what De La Salle University can be in the future. So those are what I call the push factors. But there are also pull factors. And I think that, I've thought about this for quite a bit. And I think that it really comes down to everybody in the university, whether you're a student, a faculty member, a member of the staff, whether you're an administrator. Your time here at De La Salle is part of a personal journey. And if you believe in God, maybe you will acknowledge that everything that happens to us while we work and while we study is part of His revelation to us. And that's what makes change meaningful. When most of us, as faculty members, when we entered the university, never did we have it in our minds that we would, let's say, become administrators, or that we would become involved in certain research projects, or that we would participate in social engagement activities. But these changes that become part of our lives are opportunities for us to experience God and to contribute to what I think is a worthy La Sallian mission. So those pull factors and those push factors, I think, combine to make transformation important, not just as an institution, but to us individually. So there are developments in between that we are all experiencing right now. Maybe I would say this is the second phase of it. In the first phase, we were all just getting used to the idea of what it means to digitally transform, to be able to use automation and software and other tools that will make our work more efficient and improve the quality of our services. But to be honest, we're in the phase today, I think, as I attend meetings and participate in the various activities as part of our digital transformation. I think this is the hard part, because this is the part where we have to make some tough choices about the nature of our work, the structure of our offices, the processes that we will follow, and about the resources that we have to use much more wisely now. Times are uncertain. So this is I think the part for difficult conversations. As you know, any transformation involves trade-offs. The word transformation would not be so threatening if everything were good. If it was just a question of buying this software so that we can improve, let's say, the speed of our enrollment, or to take advantage of all the services that are available to students. If it were just that easy, then transformation would not be a threatening word. It would not take 1 year or 1.5 years to do. The reason it's difficult to do is because in many instances, it involves changes in the way that we do things. It involves getting used to different processes. It involves upskilling, learning new things, even if you don't feel like it. Sometimes it means abandoning comfortable situations that we're in. And also it changes the organization of our offices. And because the more that we try and pursue seemingly simple changes, the more we realize that more changes will be needed. Even if you just start with some very small decisions, eventually you find out, there are certain processes that we may need to re-examine, or certain resources that we need to reallocate, certain individuals that we will need to retrain, just in order to be able to more fully take advantage of the potential of transformation. So I think we're at that stage now, having those kinds of difficult conversations. There is actually an easy way of doing this. of doing any kind of digital transformation, which is just to act like any other company and make a list of all the people that you're going to fire or make redundant, and just hire a cruel lawyer to do it. But that's not LaSalle. It's the reason why we've taken months to do this. There have been many difficult conversations among unit heads, among representatives of employees, our HR people, and many difficult conversations at the top, at the level of the change board and the top administrators. But we persist with these discussions because they're necessary. This is what it means to be a community. If difficult choices have to be made, then we need honesty and transparency. Sometimes we need time off to think, to look for evidence, to be able to make the case properly, but we're determined to do it in the right way. We know that the difficult decisions will not go away, but we're determined to meet them with a spirit of faith and goodwill toward each other. The tips that I will give for key user training and all the other between related activities are, I think they arise out of my own experience as somebody who has to deliver classes online and also somebody who has to do administrative work full time. And they're just, practical tips. I would say, number one, please take care of your eyes. I reckon that 35% of what you perceive as anxiety or fatigue is really eye strain. So invest in eye drops, invest in good eye drops and use them, because it's probably the biggest hidden cost of this entire online experience, whether work from home or online learning. In the past, when we were in classrooms, we could take advantage of actual reality rather than virtual reality. But these days, not only is our leisure on screen, not only are our social connections carried out on screen, but our work and our study is also carried on screen. So we're talking probably 12 hours a day, if not more, on screen, and that takes a toll. So take care of your eyes. I've also received a lot of good advice from various people in our department and throughout the university about the importance of ergonomics. Simple things like making sure that your laptop or desktop is at eye level, that you don't reach for your mouse or your keyboard. And simple things like that can make a whale of a difference. Of course, the older you are, the more you will feel this. If you're a student, I guess, maybe you won't feel the physical effects as readily, but if you're my age, I'm sure you will. So those little things, there are a lot of resources out there that can provide you with small changes, I think small changes to the way that you set up, so that as you go through the day, it doesn't take that much of a toll on you. Some kind of separation, I've also benefited from screen fasts. I know that this is a big ask for a lot of people, but all I can do is testify that if you spend, let's say, Sunday totally off screen, then it doesn't just rewire your eyes, it rewires your mind as well. And I've benefited from taking these fasts for some time because we're all trying to figure this out. This whole thing punched us in the face. COVID-19 just punched the whole world on its in its face, and we're reeling. So all I can say is that there's the extraordinary goodwill that students and faculty have shown throughout this experience, but we can also benefit from small things that will help us take care of the organs above our body that we use more now than ever before. Maybe the best encouragement that I can give in the face of these many changes is the fact that as an institution, we've been around for a long time. And that says something. When the Spanish flu hit in 1918, there was already a De La Salle in the Philippines. We weren't a university at the time, but the Philippines was hit pretty hard by that global pandemic as well. We were a college during the World War. And if we stretch even further back to the time of our founder, we're looking at 300 years of LaSallian presence in the world. And that mission has survived times which are as tough as this and times that were arguably tougher than this. Why have we survived? I'm a firm believer in core values. I believe that they are not for nothing. Core values aren't just words. When you say faith, service, and communion, they can, if you let it, have a real and lasting impact on the way that you do things, the way that you talk to each other, the way that you make decisions, the way that you envision the university, the way that you do your work on a daily basis, whether it's teaching, whether it's working in the office, whether it's administering. So times around us are difficult and there's a lot of uncertainty. We wish that more of us had the answers to questions that people have about the nature of transformation. All that we can say is that there's I can testify to a tremendous amount of goodwill that exists among the people, not just who are involved in between, but our other partners. We all want to make this work in a Lasallian way. And that Lasallian way means prioritizing community, walking in faith, praying a lot, because there's just not enough wisdom and intelligence among us. There's not enough wisdom and intelligence among us to make these hard decisions. But thankfully, there's divine will Thankfully, there's divine inspiration. And we have experienced this on many occasions during the difficult meetings that we've had. Many things could have gone wrong that didn't go wrong. So as we continue with this journey, we look forward to every opportunity to experience God in our work and to experience being in communion with each other so that we can create a stronger university, mostly for the students that are placed in our care, but also for our fellow faculty and our fellow staff.